Welcome to Audiobook segment. Every story you'll hear is crafted from the ground up, written, produced, and narrated entirely by us. Nothing recycled, nothing repurposed, just original work made for this channel. So grab your headphones, settle in, and enjoy today's audiobook. Welcome to How to Improve Your English Speaking Skills. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt nervous speaking English? Struggled to find the right words, or worried people wouldn't understand you? You are not alone. Millions of learners face the same challenge, but the good news is you can improve your English speaking skills faster than you think. In this audiobook, we will guide you step by step, covering practical strategies, real-life examples, and exercises that will help you speak English more confidently, fluently, and naturally. By the end, you will not only speak better, but also enjoy every conversation in English. Don't forget to subscribe, because mastering English speaking can open doors to education, career opportunities, friendships, and global connections. Every chapter is designed to be simple, practical, and ready to apply immediately. Let's get started and make your English speaking journey exciting and effective. Chapter 1: Building Confidence to Speak English. Welcome to Chapter 1. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt nervous, embarrassed, or hesitant when speaking English in front of others? You are not alone. Many learners struggle with confidence. The good news is, confidence can be built, step by step, with practice, mindset, and small daily actions. Confidence is the foundation of effective speaking. Even if your grammar or vocabulary is not perfect, speaking with confidence makes people pay attention, listen carefully, and understand you better. It also helps reduce fear and hesitation, which often block fluency. Think about Sarah, a student who was shy about speaking English in class. She worried about making mistakes, so she avoided participating. Her classmates spoke freely while she stayed silent. One day, she decided to practice speaking aloud at home, record herself, and repeat simple sentences in front of the mirror. Gradually, she started participating in class. Her confidence grew, and soon her speaking improved noticeably. The first step to building confidence is practice in a safe environment. Speak aloud when no one is watching. Read your favorite English text or news article, narrate your day in English, or practice conversations with yourself. These exercises may feel strange at first, but they train your mouth, tongue, and mind to produce English naturally. Next, embrace mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Every fluent English speaker has made countless errors while learning. Instead of feeling embarrassed, see mistakes as learning opportunities. Each correction strengthens your skill. Visualization also works. Imagine yourself speaking English fluently in real situations, introducing yourself, sharing ideas, or answering questions. Visualization trains your brain and reduces anxiety. Small, consistent practice is more effective than long, irregular sessions. Spend 10-15 minutes daily speaking English, and notice your comfort level increasing gradually. Positive self-talk is another key. Replace thoughts like "I'm terrible at English" with "I can improve" with practice. Your inner dialogue shapes your confidence and motivation. Consider Leo, who started speaking only a few words each day, gradually increasing sentences and conversations. He celebrated small successes, like introducing himself to a new person or ordering food in English. Each success reinforced his confidence and made speaking enjoyable. Finally, remember, confidence is not about perfection. It's about showing up, speaking clearly, and communicating your ideas. Fluency improves over time, but confidence allows you to start and keep speaking today. As we close this chapter, reflect. How can you take small steps today to speak English aloud, embrace mistakes, and build confidence? Every conversation, practice session, and attempt contributes to your journey toward fluent English. In the next chapter, we will explore expanding your vocabulary naturally, because having the right words at the right time makes speaking easier and more expressive. Chapter 2. Expanding your vocabulary naturally. Welcome to Chapter 2. Let me ask you this. Have you ever struggled to find the right word when speaking English? You know what you want to say, but your words just don't come out. That's where vocabulary comes in. A strong vocabulary helps you express yourself clearly, accurately, and confidently. The good news is, you can expand your vocabulary naturally with consistent, simple strategies. First, understand that vocabulary grows through exposure, not memorization alone. Reading, listening, and speaking regularly in English introduces you to new words in context. Context is key. Words learned in meaningful situations are easier to remember and use. Take the example of Emma. She loved watching English movies, but rarely spoke in English. She started noting new words from the dialogues and using them in sentences with her friends. Soon she could recall and use new words naturally without effort. One effective strategy is reading regularly. Books, news articles, blogs, and stories expose you to words and sentences, helping you understand meaning, usage, and nuance. Start with materials that match your level and gradually challenge yourself with more complex texts. Listening is equally powerful. Podcasts, audiobooks, movies, and conversations allow you to hear how words are pronounced and used in real life. When you listen actively, you pick up not only vocabulary, but also expressions, idioms, and sentence patterns. Try this. When you hear a new word, pause and repeat it aloud. Make a sentence using that word immediately. Speaking strengthens memory and makes it ready for real-life use. Use daily life practice. Label objects in your home with English words. Describe your actions aloud or narrate your day in English. For example, instead of thinking I'm making tea, say aloud, I am preparing a cup of tea using hot water and tea leaves. This habit strengthens recall and fluency. Consider Max, who practiced describing everything around him in English while commuting. From noticing street signs to describing shop items, he gradually built a rich vocabulary effortlessly. Another tip is grouping words by theme. Learn words related to food, travel, emotions, or work together. Thematic learning creates associations, making recall faster and speaking smoother. Use flashcards or apps if you like, but don't rely solely on memorization. Words stick when used actively in sentences and conversations. Passive learning only gives temporary recall. Synonyms and antonyms are also valuable. Learning multiple words with similar or opposite meanings lets you express ideas more precisely and makes your speech sound natural rather than repetitive. Active conversations help vocabulary retention. Speak with friends, teachers, or language partners using new words regularly. The more you use a word, the more comfortable it becomes. Writing also reinforces vocabulary. Keeping a journal in English or composing short stories allows you to experiment with words and see them in context. Writing and speaking reinforce each other. Finally, don't fear mistakes. Using new words incorrectly is normal. People will understand your intent, and correction is part of learning. Each attempt strengthens your ability to speak fluently. As we close this chapter, reflect, how can you expose yourself to new words daily? Practice using them, and make vocabulary learning a natural part of your English journey. In the next chapter, we will explore improving pronunciation and accent naturally, because clear pronunciation helps others understand you and boosts your confidence. Chapter 3, Improving Pronunciation and Accent Naturally. Welcome to Chapter 3. Let me ask you this, have you ever spoken English and felt that people didn't understand you clearly, or worried your accent made you sound different? Pronunciation and accent play a huge role in being understood and sounding natural. The good news is, with simple, consistent practice, anyone can improve their pronunciation and reduce accent barriers naturally. Pronunciation begins with listening carefully. When you hear native speakers, Notice how they pronounce words, stress syllables, and use intonation. Listening is the foundation for reproducing sounds correctly. Take the example of Lily. She struggled with certain sounds like th and r. Instead of forcing herself to repeat words blindly, she listened to English podcasts daily, paying attention to how words sounded. After consistent practice, she could pronounce tricky words confidently, break words into syllables. Complex words are easier to pronounce when you divide them into smaller parts. For example, instead of saying responsibility quickly, break it into responsibility and practice each part. Gradually, the whole word flows naturally. Use shadowing techniques. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it immediately, trying to match the speaker's tone, rhythm, and pace. This trains your mouth, tongue, and vocal patterns to produce English sounds naturally. Consider Max, who wanted to improve his American accent. He would listen to short clips of conversations and immediately repeat them aloud. Over weeks, his speech became smoother, clearer, and more native-like. Shadowing also improves fluency, not just pronunciation. Focus on stress and intonation. English is not monotone. Some syllables and words are stressed, and sentences have natural rises and falls. Emphasizing the correct syllables makes your speech sound fluent and understandable. Practice minimal pairs, words that sound similar but differ in one sound, like ship and sheep or bat and bet. Confusing these sounds can cause misunderstandings. Repeat them aloud and use them in sentences to reinforce clarity. Record yourself speaking. Listening to your own voice allows you to notice mispronunciations, awkward pauses, or unclear words. Compare your recording to native speakers and adjust gradually. Engage in mouth and tongue exercises. Certain sounds in English, like th or v, require specific tongue positions. Practice slowly and deliberately until it feels natural. Over time, your mouth adapts to English sounds effortlessly. Read aloud daily. Choose simple texts, stories, or dialogues. Focus on pronunciation, stress, and flow. Reading aloud strengthens muscle memory for clear speech and helps internalize correct pronunciation. Consider Emma, who practiced reading short articles aloud every morning. Initially, she stumbled on words, but daily practice helped her gain clarity and confidence. Her friends noticed the improvement, and she felt proud speaking English. Use online resources if available. Apps, pronunciation guides, and YouTube videos can demonstrate correct sounds and accents. Mimicking these examples enhances learning. Be patient with accent reduction. You don't need to sound exactly like a native speaker. The goal is clarity and confidence. People appreciate understandable speech more than perfect accent. Finally, practice conversationally. Speak with friends, language partners, or even yourself. Apply what you learn in real conversations, not just isolated exercises. Natural usage consolidates pronunciation skills faster. As we close this chapter, reflect. How can you incorporate listening, shadowing, speaking, and recording into your daily routine to improve pronunciation and accent? Every small effort compounds into clearer, more confident English speech. In the next chapter, we will explore practical exercises to boost fluency, because speaking smoothly and without hesitation is key to confident English communication. Chapter 4. Practical exercises to boost fluency. Welcome to Chapter 4. Let me ask you this. Have you ever spoken English and felt your words were slow, hesitant, or awkward? Fluency is the ability to speak smoothly without unnecessary pauses while thinking and responding naturally. The good news is, fluency can be developed with practical exercises and consistent practice. Fluency is not about perfection, it's about flow. You don't need perfect grammar or vocabulary to speak fluently. What matters is that your ideas are communicated clearly, confidently, and smoothly. One effective exercise is timed speaking. Set a timer for 1 to 3 minutes and talk about a topic aloud without stopping. Don't worry about mistakes. Focus on continuous speech. Over time, Your ability to think and speak simultaneously improves. Consider Sarah, who practiced this daily by describing her morning routine. At first she paused frequently and forgot words. After 2 weeks, she could speak continuously for several minutes with far fewer hesitations. Tongue twisters are another fun and powerful tool. They improve articulation, speed, and pronunciation. Start slowly and gradually increase speed. Examples include "She sells seashells by the seashore," or "Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers." Storytelling exercises also enhance fluency. Narrate short stories from your life or read stories aloud and retell them in your own words. This practice improves sentence structure, vocabulary usage, and flow of speech. Think about Max, who would read short news articles and then explain them to his friends in English. Retelling in your own words forces your brain to think in English and increases fluency. Dialogue practice is crucial. Practice common conversations, questions, and responses. Role-play scenarios like ordering food, asking for directions, or discussing hobbies. This prepares you for real-life interaction. Consider Emma, who practiced dialogues with a language partner daily. Over time, she noticed that conversations felt more natural and she responded faster without hesitation. Shadowing exercises, as discussed in Chapter 3, also boost fluency. Listen to native speakers and repeat immediately. Focus on matching their rhythm, stress, and intonation. This trains your brain to produce English in a natural, flowing manner. Recording yourself helps identify pauses, hesitations, and areas for improvement. Listen critically and note which words or phrases slow you down. Then, practice those parts until speaking becomes smooth. Another practical exercise is thinking in English. Instead of translating from your native language, try to form thoughts directly in English. Describe your surroundings, narrate your plans, or reflect on your day in English. This reduces mental translation and increases fluency. Word linking and connected speech are important for natural English. In spoken English, words often connect. "I am going to" becomes "I'm gonna." Listening and practicing connected speech helps you sound fluent and understand native speakers better. Consider Leo, who practiced connected speech by mimicking dialogues in movies. His speech became faster, smoother, and more natural. Friends noticed the difference, and he felt more confident speaking English in casual settings. Daily practice is key. Even 10 to 15 minutes of targeted fluency exercises can lead to noticeable improvement over weeks. Consistency beats occasional long practice sessions. Finally, combine exercises. Timed speaking, storytelling, dialogue, shadowing, and thinking in English together create a comprehensive fluency practice routine. The more you practice actively, the more your speech flows naturally. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you practice English daily in ways that encourage continuous speech, quick thinking, and smooth delivery? Fluency grows when you speak often, consistently, and confidently. In the next chapter, we will explore listening and comprehension strategies because understanding others is as important as speaking effectively. Chapter 5, Listening and Comprehension Strategies. Welcome to Chapter 5. Let me ask you this: have you ever struggled to understand native English speakers, even when you know the words? Listening and comprehension are key components of effective communication. Without understanding, speaking confidently becomes difficult. The good news is, listening skills can be improved with deliberate practice and the right strategies. Listening effectively begins with active listening. Focus completely on the speaker, rather than thinking about how you will respond. Pay attention to words, tone, and non-verbal cues. Active listening helps you understand meaning and context, even if you miss a few words. Consider Emma, who often missed parts of conversations. She started practicing active listening by summarizing what others said and asking clarifying questions. Over time, she understood more. responded more appropriately, and felt confident participating in discussions. Listening regularly to English in various forms builds comprehension naturally. Podcasts, audiobooks, movies, and conversations expose you to different accents, vocabulary, and sentence structures. Listening daily helps your brain adapt to natural speech patterns. Shadowing, as discussed in Chapter 3, also improves comprehension. Listening carefully to a sentence, then repeating it, reinforces both understanding and pronunciation. It trains your brain to anticipate common words and phrases. Consider Max, who listened to news podcasts for 15 minutes daily. He noted new words, phrases, and idioms, then used them in his conversations. Over weeks, he noticed he could understand fast speech more easily. Break down what you hear. If a sentence is long or complex, divide it into smaller segments. Identify the main subject, verb, and object. Understanding structure helps you grasp meaning, even when the vocabulary is challenging. Context clues are powerful. Pay attention to tone, gestures, facial expressions, and the situation. Even if a word is unfamiliar, context often helps you infer meaning. Consider Sarah, who watched movies with English subtitles. She didn't understand every word, but she used gestures, expressions, and situations to guess meanings. Eventually, she could follow dialogues without subtitles. Note-taking during listening exercises helps retention. Write down new words, phrases, and expressions. Reviewing these notes regularly reinforces comprehension and vocabulary. Practice predicting content. Before listening to a story or conversation, think about possible topics, words, and phrases. Prediction helps your brain prepare for what you might hear, making comprehension faster and easier. Repeated listening is another strategy. Listen to the same audio multiple times. Each repetition uncovers details you missed previously. Repetition also reinforces pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence patterns. Engage in conversations with native speakers or fluent learners. Real-life interaction challenges your comprehension and pushes you to respond in real time. Start with simple dialogues, then gradually handle more complex discussions. Consider Leo, who joined an online English-speaking group. Initially, he could only understand parts of conversations. With regular participation and review of discussions, his comprehension improved significantly. Finally, remember that comprehension and speaking are interconnected. The better you understand, the more confidently you can respond. Listening actively, practicing with varied materials, and reflecting on meaning strengthens both understanding and spoken fluency. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you incorporate daily listening practice, active observation, and repeated exposure into your English learning routine? Improved comprehension leads to confident, effective communication. In the next chapter, we will explore practical tips to think in English, because thinking in English eliminates translation delays and boosts fluency. Chapter 6. Thinking in English for faster fluency. Welcome to Chapter 6. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt slow when speaking English because your brain keeps translating from your native language? Thinking in your first language and then translating wastes time, creates hesitation, and interrupts fluency. The solution is simple. Train yourself to think directly in English. Thinking in English allows your brain to form sentences naturally, choose words quickly, and speak smoothly. It's one of the most effective ways to improve fluency. Consider Sarah, who always translated in her head before speaking. Her conversations were slow and awkward. She began narrating her daily activities in English, silently in her mind. I am making breakfast. I will go to the store. I feel happy today. Gradually, she stopped translating, and speaking became faster and more natural. Start with simple sentences. Describe what you see, hear, or do in English. For example, while walking, think, the sun is bright. People are walking their dogs. The car is red. Small sentences build the habit of thinking in English. Next, use inner dialogues. Talk to yourself in English throughout the day. Plan your schedule, make decisions, or reflect on experiences in English. Inner conversation strengthens your ability to speak spontaneously. Consider Max, who practiced thinking in English during his commute. He described his surroundings, imagined conversations, and rehearsed responses. After weeks, he noticed that speaking English felt more instinctive. Label objects around you in English. When you see a chair, think chair. When you pick up a pen, think pen. Associating objects directly with English words avoids translation and speeds up word recall. Ask questions in English. Internally, instead of wondering in your native language, think, what should I eat today? How do I solve this problem? Asking in English trains your mind to form sentences naturally. Narrate past experiences and future plans. Reflect, yesterday I went to the park, or tomorrow I will meet my friend. Talking about time in English strengthens grammar, vocabulary, and fluency simultaneously. Consider Emma, who kept a small notebook of daily activities and wrote them in English, then read them aloud. Her thinking shifted to English gradually, and she could express herself more clearly without hesitation. Practice with mental conversations. Imagine talking to a friend, teacher, or colleague in English. Think about what they might say and how you would respond. Mental rehearsal boosts confidence and fluency. Combine with listening. When listening to English, pause occasionally and summarize mentally in English what you understood. This reinforces comprehension, vocabulary, and sentence formation. Be patient. Thinking in English is a habit that develops gradually. Start with a few minutes daily, then extend to hours as it becomes natural. Consistency is key. Finally, remember, the more you think in English, the faster and smoother your speaking becomes. Fluency is not just about pronunciation or vocabulary. It's about connecting your thoughts directly to English words and sentences. As we close this chapter, reflect, how can you integrate thinking in English into your daily life? From morning routines to work and social interactions, every thought in English strengthens your ability to speak effortlessly. In the next chapter, we will explore practical daily speaking exercises, because consistent, intentional practice turns learning into fluent communication. Chapter 7. Practical Daily Speaking Exercises. Welcome to Chapter 7. Let me ask you this. Do you find it difficult to speak English regularly because you lack opportunities or confidence? Consistent daily practice is the key to becoming fluent. In this chapter, we'll explore practical exercises you can do every day to improve your English speaking skills naturally. The first and most important exercise is speaking aloud every day. Even if you're alone, talk to yourself about your day, your plans, or your opinions. For example, say, "Today I will go to the store. I need to buy fruits and vegetables." Speaking aloud helps your brain and mouth get used to producing English naturally. Consider Max, who practiced speaking aloud for 15 minutes every morning. Initially, he stumbled over words and paused frequently. After 2 weeks, his sentences became smoother, and he felt more confident speaking in real conversations. Shadowing exercises are also essential. Listen to a short sentence or dialogue from a podcast or video, then immediately repeat it aloud, mimicking pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. This improves fluency, pronunciation, and confidence simultaneously. Record yourself speaking. Choose a topic, speak for 1 to 2 minutes, and then listen to the recording. Identify areas for improvement, such as pronunciation errors, awkward pauses, or missing words. Repeating this process strengthens clarity and fluency over time. Consider Sarah, who recorded herself reading short articles daily. She noticed she mispronounced certain words and repeated filler words like and ah. By practicing and re-recording, she gradually corrected these issues. Use role-play exercises. Imagine real-life situations, ordering food, asking for directions, making small talk, or introducing yourself. Practice both sides of the conversation. Role-playing prepares you for actual interactions. Emma practiced role-playing with a friend for 15 minutes each day. She pretended to meet someone for the first time, answer questions, and talk about hobbies. Over time, she became more comfortable initiating real conversations in English. Narration exercises are highly effective. Describe what you see around you or explain a process. For example, I am making tea. First, I boil water. Then I add tea leaves. After 3 minutes, I pour the tea into a cup. Narrating builds sentence structure, vocabulary, and fluency. Think in English aloud. Combine the exercise from Chapter 6 with speaking aloud. Don't translate from your native language. Form sentences directly in English. For example, while cooking, say, I am cutting vegetables. I need a knife and a cutting board. Thinking and speaking simultaneously accelerates fluency. Engage in conversation practice with others. Speak with friends, classmates, or online language partners. Short daily conversations reinforce learned skills and increase comfort in real-world situations. Consider Leo, who joined an online English-speaking group. Initially, he was shy and spoke very little. With consistent daily participation, he could discuss topics confidently, ask questions, and respond naturally. Daily reflection and review help consolidate learning. After speaking exercises, note down new words, tricky pronunciations, or phrases you want to remember. Reviewing these daily reinforces your skills and builds habit. Finally, consistency is everything. Even 10 to 15 minutes of intentional speaking practice each day compounds over weeks and months. The more you speak, the more natural and confident your English becomes. As we close this chapter, reflect, how can you integrate daily speaking exercises into your routine today? Remember, consistent practice turns knowledge into fluent, confident speech. In the next chapter, we will explore using body language and non-verbal cues to enhance communication. Because speaking is more than just words, it's also about how you express yourself physically. Chapter 8. Using body language and non-verbal cues. Welcome to Chapter 8. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt that, even though your English words were correct, people didn't seem engaged or interested? Speaking English isn't only about words, it's also about how you express yourself with your body, facial expressions, and gestures. Nonverbal communication can enhance your message, make you more confident, and help you connect with others effectively. Body language communicates emotions, confidence, and engagement, often more powerfully than words. Smiling, eye contact, gestures, posture, and facial expressions support your spoken words and make your communication more compelling. Consider Emma, who was excellent at grammar and vocabulary but struggled to capture attention during presentations. She started practicing gestures, making eye contact, and standing confidently. Instantly, people were more attentive, and her communication became more persuasive and natural. Posture matters. Stand or sit upright with shoulders relaxed. Avoid slouching, which signals insecurity or disinterest. Confident posture not only projects self-assurance, but also improves your breathing and voice projection. Eye contact is crucial. Maintaining natural eye contact shows confidence and engagement. Avoid staring, but don't look away too often, which can make you appear nervous. Eye contact helps listeners feel connected and understood. Facial expressions convey your emotions and reinforce your words. Smile when appropriate, raise your eyebrows to show curiosity, or nod to indicate agreement. Your face should reflect the tone of your speech naturally. Gestures add emphasis and clarity. Use your hands to illustrate points, show size, or highlight important ideas. Gestures should be natural and moderate. Exaggerated movements can be distracting. Consider Max, who explained a complex idea using hand gestures and facial expressions. His listeners grasped the concept faster. remembered key points, and were more engaged compared to previous presentations without gestures. Mirroring is another powerful technique. Subtly mimic the listener's body language, tone, or expressions to create rapport. Mirroring makes people feel comfortable and understood. Be careful to keep it natural rather than forced. Pausing and pacing are non-verbal tools as well. Don't rush your words. Use pauses to emphasize important points. Give the listener time to absorb information and control the flow of conversation. Proxemics or personal space matters too. Stand at an appropriate distance depending on the context and culture. Respecting space shows awareness and professionalism. Listening actively with your body enhances communication. Lean slightly forward, nod occasionally, and maintain open gestures to show attentiveness. Non-verbal listening signals respect and encourages the speaker to share more freely. Combine verbal and non-verbal cues. Words and gestures should reinforce each other. Saying "I am excited" with a flat tone and no expression weakens the message. Smile, use hand movements, and modulate your voice to match your enthusiasm. Daily practice improves non-verbal communication. Record yourself speaking or present to a mirror. Observe posture, gestures, facial expressions, and voice modulation. Adjust until your body language feels natural and supportive. Finally, remember, effective communication is holistic. Words convey meaning, but body language and non-verbal cues enhance clarity, connection, and engagement. Mastering both verbal and non-verbal skills makes you a confident and compelling English speaker. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you practice posture, gestures, expressions, and eye contact in your daily conversations? Every small adjustment enhances your overall communication impact. In the next chapter, we will explore asking questions and engaging others in conversation, because effective questioning drives meaningful interactions and builds confidence. Chapter 9: Asking Questions and Engaging Others. Welcome to Chapter 9. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a conversation where you struggled to keep it going, or felt awkward? Pauses, asking questions, and engaging others is a key skill in speaking English confidently. It not only shows interest, but also encourages natural, flowing conversation. Effective questioning begins with curiosity. Be genuinely interested in what the other person is saying. When you show curiosity, people feel valued and respond more openly. Consider Emma, who struggled in social settings because she often waited for others to lead conversations. She began asking simple questions like, "How was your day?" or "What do you enjoy doing?" She noticed that conversations became easier and more enjoyable. Open-ended questions work best. Instead of asking questions that get a yes or no answer, ask questions that require explanation. For example, "What was the most interesting part of your trip?" encourages a longer response and more engagement. Listening actively while someone answers is crucial. Don't just wait for your turn to speak. Focus on their words, tone, and expressions. This allows you to respond appropriately and continue the conversation naturally. Consider Max, who asked his coworker about weekend plans and listened attentively. By reacting to what he heard, he asked follow-up questions that made the conversation flow smoothly for several minutes. Follow-up questions deepen engagement. If someone mentions a hobby or experience, ask them to elaborate. Questions like, "How did you get started with that?" or "What do you enjoy most about it?" show that you care and keep the dialogue moving. Balance is important. Avoid asking too many questions in a row or interrogating someone. Mix questions with comments, observations, or personal stories. This creates a conversational rhythm that feels natural. Practice paraphrasing what the other person said before asking the next question. For instance, "You mentioned you love painting. What kind of art do you focus on?" This shows active listening and makes the other person feel understood. Be mindful of tone and body language when asking questions. A friendly smile, eye contact, and a calm voice encourage open responses. Avoid sounding rushed or impatient, which may make people hesitant to share. Consider Leo, who practiced asking questions in English with classmates. Initially, his questions were basic and awkward, but with daily practice, he could ask engaging, meaningful questions that kept conversations lively and interesting. Combine questioning with storytelling. Share a brief related story after asking a question. For example, after asking about a trip, you might say, "I visited a similar place last year, and I loved the local food." This creates connection and makes conversations more dynamic. Daily practice is essential. Set a goal to ask at least 2 or 3 open-ended questions in English each day, in real conversations or role-playing exercises. Over time, asking questions becomes second nature. Finally, remember, engagement is about genuine curiosity, active listening, and smooth conversation flow. Asking meaningful questions helps you connect, keeps conversations alive, and builds confidence in speaking English. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you practice asking questions daily, listening actively, and engaging others in English? Every small effort makes your conversations more fluent and enjoyable. In the next chapter, we will explore using storytelling to make your English conversations more compelling, because stories capture attention and make your speech memorable. Chapter 10. Using storytelling to engage listeners. Welcome to Chapter 10. Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried explaining something in English and felt your listeners were losing interest? Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools to make your speech engaging, memorable, and easy to follow. Stories captivate attention, create emotional connection, and help you express ideas naturally. Storytelling begins with simplicity. You don't need a long, complex story to make an impact. Even short, relatable stories about your daily life can make conversations lively and memorable. Consider Max, who wanted to share his travel experience. Instead of listing facts, he described his feelings, the sights he saw, and a funny incident on the trip. His listeners were engaged, laughed, and asked questions, which made the conversation dynamic and enjoyable. Structure your stories. A clear beginning, middle, and end helps the listener follow easily. Start by introducing the situation, describe the main events, and conclude with a takeaway or reflection. Structure keeps your story coherent and engaging. Use descriptive language. Details about people, places, and actions bring stories to life. For example, instead of saying "I went to a park," you could say, "I visited a quiet park with tall green trees and colorful flowers that smelled amazing." Descriptions help the listener visualize your story. Consider Emma, who practiced telling stories aloud. She started with simple sentences, then gradually added descriptions and emotions. Her stories became lively and enjoyable, making people want to hear more. Incorporate emotions and reactions. Sharing your feelings or how you reacted to situations makes stories relatable. People connect emotionally, which strengthens engagement. For example, "I was nervous when I gave my first presentation, but I felt proud afterward." Practice using dialogues within your stories. Quoting what people said during events makes your story dynamic and realistic. For instance, "My friend said, 'You have to try this food,' and I laughed before tasting it." Dialogue adds life and flow. Timing and pacing matter. Avoid rushing through a story. Pause at important points. Emphasize key moments and vary your speed. This keeps the listener interested and allows them to absorb details. Consider Leo, who practiced storytelling in his daily English practice. Initially, he spoke too fast and skipped details, but with conscious pacing, his stories became clear, enjoyable, and memorable. Link stories to the conversation naturally. Instead of forcing a story, relate it to the topic or question at hand. For example, if someone asks about your hobbies, share a short story about a memorable experience while practicing that hobby. This makes your speech relevant and engaging. Practice storytelling daily. Narrate small incidents from your day, memorable moments, or interesting experiences. Record yourself if possible. Listen and improve structure, details, and expression over time. Finally, remember, storytelling is a skill that combines vocabulary, pronunciation, fluency, and engagement. Mastering it makes your English conversations dynamic, compelling, and enjoyable for both you and your listeners. As we close this chapter, reflect. How can you practice sharing stories in English daily, adding details, emotions, and dialogue to make your speech captivating? Every story you tell builds confidence, fluency, and connection. In the next chapter, we will explore handling questions and feedback gracefully, because responding effectively strengthens confidence and communication skills. Chapter 11. Handling questions and feedback gracefully. Welcome to Chapter 11. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt nervous when someone asked you a question in English or gave feedback on your speaking? Many learners hesitate, stumble, or feel embarrassed. But handling questions and feedback gracefully is a skill that can be developed with practice. First, understand that questions and feedback are opportunities, not challenges. Questions give you a chance to explain your thoughts, while feedback helps you improve. Treat them as valuable tools rather than threats to your confidence. Consider Sarah, who used to freeze when asked unexpected questions during class discussions. She realized that questions are not meant to embarrass her. They are ways for others to learn from her or test understanding. This mindset shifted her approach completely. When asked a question, listen carefully. Don't rush to answer or guess. Take a moment to understand what is being asked. If necessary, repeat the question in your own words silently or aloud to clarify in your mind before responding. Max practiced this by pausing briefly before responding in conversations. He realized that a short pause allows him to think clearly, reduces mistakes, and shows thoughtfulness. It's okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand. Phrases like, "Could you repeat that, please?" or "Can you explain what you mean?" show that you are engaged and eager to respond correctly. This is much better than giving a confused or incorrect answer. When responding, stay calm and confident. Speak clearly and don't worry about making small mistakes. Your goal is communication, not perfection. Confidence in tone often matters more than flawless grammar. Consider Emma, who once gave a brief, thoughtful answer to a complex question instead of overthinking. Her response impressed her listeners more than long, error-filled explanations. Receiving feedback requires a positive mindset. Listen actively without interrupting or becoming defensive. Accept feedback as a way to improve, not as criticism. Phrases like, "Thank you for pointing that out," or "I will work on that," reflect professionalism and maturity. Practice paraphrasing feedback to ensure understanding. For example, if someone says, "Try to slow down while speaking," you could respond, "Okay, I will focus on speaking more slowly to be clearer." This shows attentiveness and willingness to improve. Consider Leo, who used peer feedback during online language sessions. By listening carefully and applying suggestions daily, he improved pronunciation, sentence flow, and word choice within weeks. Use questions and feedback to guide your learning. If someone asks a question you can't answer immediately, note it down and research later. This proactive approach turns every interaction into a learning opportunity. Maintain a friendly and open body language while handling questions and feedback. Smiles, nods, and relaxed posture convey confidence and receptiveness, encouraging others to engage with you more. Daily practice helps. Role-play situations with friends, family, or language partners where they ask questions or provide feedback. Over time, your ability to respond thoughtfully and confidently becomes natural. Finally, remember, questions and feedback are not obstacles. They are tools for growth. Handling them gracefully enhances communication, builds confidence, and accelerates improvement in English-speaking skills. As we close this chapter, reflect. How can you respond to questions and feedback calmly, thoughtfully, and positively in your daily English practice? Each response strengthens your fluency, confidence, and conversational ability. In the next chapter, we will explore practical strategies to participate in group discussions, because effective group communication is a vital skill for both social and professional settings. Chapter 12: Participating in Group Discussions Effectively. Welcome to Chapter 12. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a group discussion and felt unsure about when to speak or how to express your ideas in English? Participating in group discussions effectively is a key skill that builds confidence, enhances communication, and improves your fluency in real-life situations. First, preparation is important. Think about the topic beforehand, organize your thoughts, and note down key points. Even a few mental bullet points can help you speak clearly and confidently. Consider Sarah, who used to remain silent in group discussions because she felt unprepared. She started preparing small points in her mind before each meeting. Gradually, she found herself contributing more and more confidently. Listen actively to others. Understanding what participants say allows you to respond appropriately, build on ideas, and avoid repeating points. Active listening also helps you pick up new vocabulary, phrases, and expressions used naturally in conversation. Max practiced active listening by summarizing what others said before adding his thoughts. For example, "I agree with your point about teamwork. I also think that clear communication is essential for success." This approach helped him join discussions smoothly and confidently. Be confident but polite when expressing your ideas. Speak clearly, maintain a steady pace, and make eye contact. Politeness ensures that your contributions are respected, while confidence ensures they are heard. Consider Emma, who initially spoke softly and hesitated. By practicing a firm but friendly tone, she was able to express her opinions clearly and engage others in meaningful dialogue. Use examples to support your points. Illustrating ideas with experiences, stories, or facts makes your contributions more convincing and easier to follow. For instance, instead of saying, "Teamwork is important," you could say, "Teamwork is important. In my last project, collaborating with my team helped us finish early and achieve great results." Don't be afraid to ask questions during discussions. Asking relevant questions shows engagement and curiosity. For example, "How do you think we can improve this plan?" Encourages interaction and keeps the conversation dynamic. Consider Leo, who initially stayed quiet but started asking questions to understand others' viewpoints. His participation increased and he became more comfortable contributing ideas. Practice turn-taking. Avoid interrupting others and wait for an appropriate moment to share your thoughts. Respectful turn-taking shows maturity and improves the overall flow of the discussion. Think about body language. Sitting upright, nodding, and maintaining eye contact conveys attentiveness and interest. Nonverbal cues complement your words and encourage others to engage with you. Daily practice enhances skill. Role-play group discussions with friends, classmates, or online language partners. Discuss topics like hobbies, school experiences, or current events. The more you practice, the more naturally you will participate in real discussions. Finally, remember, effective group participation requires preparation, listening, confident expression, examples, polite turn-taking, and engagement. Combining these elements builds confidence, fluency, and social communication skills in English. As we close this chapter, reflect. How can you practice contributing meaningfully, listening actively, and asking questions in group settings? Every effort strengthens your ability to speak clearly and confidently in collective conversations. In the next chapter, we will explore handling phone and video conversations, because modern communication often happens remotely, and fluency in these situations is essential. Chapter 13: Handling phone and video conversations. Welcome to Chapter 13. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt nervous speaking English over the phone or in a video call? Many learners struggle with these situations because you can't rely on face-to-face cues, and there's often a delay in understanding. The good news is, With practice and simple strategies, you can handle phone and video conversations confidently. First, preparation is key. Know the purpose of the call and the topics likely to be discussed. Prepare key phrases, questions, or sentences in advance. Being prepared reduces stress and improves clarity. Consider Max, who used to panic during phone interviews. He started writing down important points and practicing responses before each call. Gradually, his confidence grew, and he could speak more naturally. Speak clearly and slowly. On phone and video calls, pronunciation and pacing are even more important because listeners rely entirely on your voice. Avoid rushing and pause briefly between sentences to ensure understanding. Emma practiced by recording herself answering common questions and listening to the playback. This helped her notice unclear pronunciation and adjust her speed. After repeated practice, her speech became clearer and easier to understand. Active listening is critical. Since visual cues may be limited, focus closely on tone, words, and context. Nodding and smiling in video calls helps convey attentiveness, while verbal acknowledgements like "I see" or "that" make sense confirm understanding. Consider Sarah, who struggled to follow discussions during video meetings. By practicing active listening and giving verbal feedback, she could respond accurately and maintain smooth conversation flow. Use short, complete sentences. Avoid long, complicated sentences that may confuse the listener or make you stumble. Keeping sentences concise ensures clarity and makes it easier to express your ideas fluently. Don't hesitate to ask for repetition or clarification if needed. Phrases like "Could you repeat that, please?" or "I didn't catch that." "Could you explain?" are completely acceptable and show engagement rather than weakness. Practice common call situations. Role-play scenarios like making appointments, asking for information, participating in team meetings, or casual conversations. Familiarity with these situations builds confidence and reduces anxiety. Consider Leo, who practiced daily with a friend via video calls. Initially, he spoke very little, worried about mistakes, and hesitated often. After weeks of consistent practice, he spoke comfortably, understood more, and felt confident handling real calls. Pay attention to background noise, microphone quality, and lighting for video calls. Clear sound and good visibility help communication and reduce misunderstandings. These technical details complement your speaking skills. Finally, remember, phone and video conversations require preparation, clear speech, active listening, concise sentences, and engagement. With consistent practice, you can handle these conversations naturally and confidently. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you incorporate regular phone or video conversation practice into your routine? Each call strengthens your fluency, comprehension, and confidence in real-life communication. In the next chapter, we will explore boosting confidence for public speaking in English. Because speaking confidently in front of multiple people is a critical skill for school, work, and social interactions. Chapter 14. Boosting confidence for public speaking. Welcome to Chapter 14. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt nervous or hesitant speaking English in front of a group of people? Public speaking can be intimidating, but confidence is a skill that can be developed with preparation, practice, and the right mindset. Confidence begins with preparation. Know your topic well, organize your ideas, and anticipate questions. When you feel prepared, nervousness decreases, and you can focus on expressing yourself clearly. Consider Sarah, who was terrified of presenting in class. She started by writing key points, rehearsing aloud, and visualizing herself speaking successfully. Over time, her anxiety reduced, and she spoke naturally and confidently. Practice speaking aloud regularly. Rehearse your speech or presentation multiple times. Speaking aloud helps your brain, mouth, and voice work together smoothly, improving fluency and confidence simultaneously. Max practiced by presenting short topics to a mirror every day. Initially, he stumbled and paused often. With repetition, he developed rhythm, clarity, and self-assurance in his speech. Visualization is a powerful tool. Imagine yourself speaking confidently, smiling, and receiving positive reactions. Mental rehearsal strengthens your belief in your ability to perform successfully. Use positive self-talk. Replace thoughts like "I will make mistakes" with "I can speak clearly and confidently." Encouraging yourself reduces anxiety and reinforces a confident mindset. Consider Emma, who repeated affirmations before speaking. She said, "I am prepared, I know my topic, and I can communicate clearly." This simple practice boosted her confidence and calmness significantly. Start with small audiences. Begin by speaking to 1 or 2 friends, then gradually increase the audience size. This progressive approach allows you to gain confidence step by step without feeling overwhelmed. Focus on clear pronunciation and pacing. Speak slowly, articulate words carefully, and pause at key points. Clear speech demonstrates confidence and ensures that listeners understand your message. Incorporate gestures and eye contact naturally. Use your hands to emphasize points and make eye contact with different listeners. These non-verbal cues enhance engagement and make your speech more compelling. Consider Leo, who initially avoided eye contact and gesturing. After practicing, he noticed that his presentations became more lively and people responded positively, making him feel more confident. Practice improvisation. Be ready to respond to unexpected questions or comments. Flexibility and the ability to think on your feet enhance confidence and make your delivery appear natural and professional. Finally, remember, public speaking confidence is built through preparation, practice, visualization, positive mindset, gradual exposure, clear speech, and natural gestures. The more you practice intentionally, the more effortlessly you can speak in front of others. As we close this chapter, reflect: how can you incorporate daily practice, visualization, and small presentations into your routine? Every attempt strengthens your confidence, fluency, and overall speaking ability. In the next chapter, we will explore integrating all skills for real-life English mastery, because fluency, confidence, listening, and storytelling work best when combined. Chapter 15. Integrating all skills for real-life English mastery. Welcome to Chapter 15. Let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered how to take all the English-speaking skills you've learned and use them confidently in real life? Mastering English is not just about knowing words or grammar. It's about integrating listening, speaking, thinking, storytelling, body language, and confidence into seamless communication. Integration begins with awareness. Reflect on all the skills you have practiced so far. Pronunciation, vocabulary, fluency, thinking in English, listening, storytelling, asking questions, handling feedback, participating in groups, and public speaking. Each skill strengthens the others when used together. Consider Max, who initially practiced each skill separately. He could pronounce words clearly, tell short stories, and answer questions. But when combining these in real conversations, he felt hesitant. By consciously merging the skills, he noticed his communication became smoother and more natural. Start by daily practice combining multiple skills. For example, narrate your day in English while using gestures, appropriate tone, and descriptive language. Pause occasionally, think in English, and record yourself. Listen critically and improve each aspect simultaneously. Engage in conversations where you actively listen, ask questions, respond thoughtfully, and include short stories or examples. This replicates real-life interactions and ensures that all skills are applied together. Consider Emma, who practiced with an online language partner. She would listen carefully, respond using complete sentences, share short experiences, and maintain eye contact. Over time, speaking English became fluid, enjoyable, and second nature. Participate in group discussions or meetings where multiple skills are tested. Listening, thinking quickly, speaking clearly, engaging others, and handling feedback. Treat each interaction as an opportunity to integrate and reinforce your abilities. Practice public speaking scenarios where you tell a story, use gestures, ask questions, and anticipate feedback. Simulating real-life situations strengthens confidence and ensures your skills are not isolated but connected. Combine reading and listening exercises with speaking. After listening to an audiobook, podcast, or watching a video, summarize the content aloud in your own words. Add your opinions, reflections, and stories related to the topic. This integrates comprehension, vocabulary, thinking, and speaking fluently. Consider Leo, who spent 15 minutes each day summarizing news articles aloud. By practicing thinking, speaking, and storytelling simultaneously, his fluency, vocabulary, and confidence improved remarkably. Reflect on progress regularly. Identify areas of strength and areas needing improvement. Make small adjustments in pronunciation, sentence structure, vocabulary usage, and delivery. Continuous reflection helps integrate skills more effectively. Remember, fluency and mastery come from consistency, awareness, and deliberate practice. Combining listening, speaking, thinking in English, storytelling, asking questions, handling feedback, participating in groups, and public speaking allows you to communicate naturally and confidently in any situation. Finally, make English a part of your daily life. Speak aloud, think in English, listen actively, interact with others, and practice storytelling. Integration happens gradually, but steadily, and consistent effort transforms knowledge into real-life mastery. As we close this chapter and the audiobook, reflect. How can you integrate all the skills you have learned into your daily life? Each conversation, presentation, and practice session brings you closer to fluent, confident, and natural English communication. Congratulations on completing this journey. Remember, mastery is not a destination, but a continuous process. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy the journey of speaking English confidently and effectively.